Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is XenokillaOfTaw of Clan TAW, coming at you with Week 6 of the Ghosts of Tarsonis Persistent World metagame. My name is XenokillaOfTaw, and I have the echo on like a noob. Week 6 of the Ghosts of... There we go. All right, then. My co-caster this evening is Mothership. Say hi, Mothership.
Hi, Mothership.
And finally, after 6 weeks of preparation, we actually managed to start the games and the stream at the same time. So our first match is between jejejeo, Vulkor, and SC Mothership's ridiculously loud mechanical keyboard.
Keyception, bro.
Keyception. Yo, dog.
Right into your words.
Yeah, something like that. So we're going to get our first match started. Now, of course, as you've seen on the stream before, we play a little music in between the matches. And I've decreed tonight to be old school hip-hop night. So we got a little LL Cool J, some Run DMC, some MC Sean, a little Tribe Called Quest Midnight Marauders, and a couple other little gems from the early days of hip-hop to keep you entertained through our travels in the world tonight. All right, I'm ready when you are.
Okay. I'm going to give them the countdown. Actually, I'm going to ask if they're ready and then give them the countdown.
Exactly.
Because that would be unfortunate.
That would be unfortunate if you gave them the countdown but then didn't count them down.
Oh, that's a good luck having fun. That's a yep for me. See, I want to see your overlays because I want to see if I have a bigger EP than you.
My overlays were awesome. Then there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, see, your what's it called is just like not even showing up for me.
It should be showing up.
Is it? Wait, what do you play or what do you stream on? That's a better question. What's your URL? Just hand that to me.
Twitch.tv/XenokillaOfTaw.
Oh, so that's probably why. I just typed in Xenokilla.
Yeah.
Which you also appear to have cornered the market for.
Yeah, well, that's me. Alright, so this is the regular Blizzard version of MLG Metal No, this is the regular version of Metalopolis, not the MLG version. So you can see that both of our players have spawned in close spawns. Up here in the top we have Vulkor in the blue trunks, and down below him we have, how do you pronounce his name? Jejejeo or something? Is that the Latin pronunciation of that, or I don't know. What are we doing for that?
It could be. I prefer to replace everything with G's. You see?
G's? So it'd be jejejeo?
No, the jejejeo.
Oh,
you see?
Jejejeo. Okay.
Like is all the J's should be a G.
Ah, gotcha. Jejejeo.
It's like jejejeo. You know what I'm saying? Like GG.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. So
it's a stretch. It's a stretch, but I think it works.
Okay, I'm just trying to look up everybody's ranks at the moment. I should probably sort
I believe
alphabetically.
Gold and unobtainium.
Yeah, jejejeo is gold, and then Vulkor is not on our list. For some
I think
reason.
he's gold as well. He probably hasn't played his placement matches yet, knowing him. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I'm watching your camera angle here.
Well, that's how you're supposed to do
anything you do, I'm watching it, mister.
Oh God.
If we look at the production tab, we see that these two players are almost exactly equal, but Vulkor's got the one probe lead because he's kind of a baller.
Exactly. I have to turn that off.
He's also, getting his gas before jejejeo, but jejejeo's falling straight behind him. Falling straight behind him, yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you look at the building placement, Vulkor put his gateway at the end of the minerals, meanwhile... GG put his right next to his Nexus. So an interesting turn of events on there, but both players on the gas. Vulkor, GG a little faster on the Cyber Core though.
You know what I was thinking? If you say jejjeo's name really fast, it actually just sounds like you're saying jejejeo. You know?
We could just call him G.
Yo. Jejejeo, you know?
Jejejeo. Anyway, so there's a probe fight going down here in the corner. Nothing really too crazy about that. GG's probe is finally getting close enough to scout Vulkor's base.
Oh yeah, I just realized jejejeo it was either jejejeo. Actually, let me check really quick to see if it was him. Yeah, jejejeo actually scouted the close by ground positions, which it is impossible for Vulkor to have spawned there. But even though I told him too, I'm like, it's only cross or close by air.
Right.
But no, jejejeo didn't want to listen to Mr. SC Mothership here, who knows what he's talking about.
Yep, so we see a second gateway come down from Vulkor, and
Sure do.
both researching warp gates. We actually see 2 gates coming down from jejejeo.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't think either of them's going to be 4-gating, or they're not going to do, like, the most obnoxious 4-gate, just because
jejejeo's
normally
got a
you
probe
wait.
just kind of sitting out there doing nothing.
Got a lot of probes out right now. Both players have 2 probes.
Kind of costly at this early stage in the game.
Scooting a boot.
Yep, Vulkor getting good map control. You know, it'll be a while before any player can get out air units. So with that XenokillaOfTaw tower, have a little bit of an early warning if jejejeo decides to do any sort of early pressure. But we see a robo facility, so jejejeo's opening looks like a 2-gate robo, and Vulkor's opening looks like 3-gate.
It's interesting. He's just now putting on his gas. Yeah, just now. Vulkor's build seems a little bit striated here. It's a lot of different lines that he's trying to cross. But it looks like he's trying to do like a 3-gate expand, which is really, really hard to pull off in PvP. You kind of need cannons. But he's also getting that second gas, which indicates that he wants to do some sort of tech play.
Yep,
so I'm not exactly sure what Vulkor is going for here.
Yep, and he's wisely putting that pylon in the gas there to make sure there's no sort of drop shenanigans. But he is leaving that probe there, which is, you know, a costly mistake, because each probe, you know, it's a lot of minerals wasted. And we see Vulkor now, he's throwing down his robo facility. So...
a lot slower than jejejeo here. So jejejeo's already got that first obs out and going to be producing an immortal.
Yep. So we have, it went 2-gate robo gate again for jejejeo, and then Vulkor went 3-gate robo and is now building just, you know, whatever. So we finally have an immortal coming out for jejejeo, and then Vulkor is just sort of building more probes.
Yeah, man, jejejeo getting that full scout off. That's really good, especially in PvP, because normally what happens is obs get built at the same time and then they cross paths, especially in close by air on this map.
Yep.
And when you try and cross that dead space, like trench, the observers will normally cross paths, and then it's like a game of chicken to see who can juke out the other observer,
right,
or 2, who can kill off the other observer, you know what I'm saying? So you want to try and trick them into like going into your base maybe, and then have your observer kind of fly around. But you don't even see that your observer's flying around.
Exactly.
So then sometimes you might just go straight ahead and try and get into his... Yeah, it's a lot of mind games with those observers. But unfortunately we don't get to see any of those mind games because
nope.
Vulkor's observer's way late.
Yep, so jejejeo is moving out. He's got a decent amount of stalkers, pair of sentries, and an immortal, which should be no problem to take that second base. So Vulkor is going to be under a little bit of pressure here to expand quickly, or else he is going to be in a little bit of an economic deficit. If Vulkor responds to this correctly, for one, he should be checking to see if there's an expansion, but he does have his observer just kind of chilling there in the main base of jejejeo. Yep. But if Vulkor were to play this out correctly, he would see that and then go for an immediate attack. But actually, I do see Vulkor is going to be going for an attack anyway. So with correct force field placement and Guardian shields, this should be actually a pretty easy win for Vulkor if he reinforces behind it. Yep.
It should be an easy win here. Yeah. There's no blink out or anything. The forge is just now starting. Actually, a really good position here by jejejeo though, with the stalkers on the high ground. At least stalkers that were on the high ground. Yeah,
the stalkers on the high ground definitely would give him an advantage. So Vulkor is seeing that. So he could probably guess that there's an expansion out there. There'd be no reason for that force to be out there if there wasn't. So we can see that Vulkor is going to immediately, well, almost immediately, throw down his expansion. So both players working on 2 bases. But I still think jejejeo is a little bit ahead. He got his tech up faster. We can check the probe count, right? Well, actually about equal in probes.
It's very equal. Yeah, one thing I wanted to point out is that Vulkor actually had a probe at the natural. So he did know that expansion did go down. So it was a really well-timed attack, actually, that went up by Vulkor there. So good props to him on that one, because a lot of people miss the subtleties of the matchup here, where if you see your opponent expand before you have to put pressure, and the best time to put that pressure is right when they throw down that nexus, because that's 400 minerals they don't have at that point.
Yeah. So actually, it looks like Vulkor is pulling a little bit ahead in supply. I think his army count, well, his units tab, he's got a whole bunch of units there.
Whoa, and a huge transfer of probes by Vulkor there.
Right.
That is way too many.
You think so? Ooh, that is a lot.
I think so.
Yeah, it
He
looks
actually
like
doesn't need to build any more probes at that.
at the
Actually, let
natural.
me check.
Well,
He needs actually 3 more probes at that natural.
both
So.
players are tied actually about 33 and 35 probes apiece. Now we can see that Vulkor is putting down the Forge, and he's also going to a Twilight Council. So that's an interesting. He went 3-gate into Robo, and now he's going to build a Forge and a Twilight Council. So that's interesting. Jejejeo's building. He just built 6 pylons, and that's 600 minerals, which is a lot. Because that's going to bring him up over, like, what, 120 supply?
Well, he won't be supply blocked for a while. The problem with building supply like that for so long is you don't need to build supply, therefore, like, you end up getting supply blocked again once you've reached that point of your supply cap, because you're not constantly building pylons like you should be.
Yep, and now we see a Robo-Bay coming down from jejejeo, and we can take a look at the way he's built all of his buildings. He's got 2 pylons in the middle. No wasted space there. It's built very much like a Lego set. Everything's pretty well protected. He's actually got 3 pylons in there, so he's, it'd take him a while to depower all of his main buildings. So I like that. He's also working on the upgrades. He's got, does he have +1 yet? Yeah, he's got +1
yeah,
attack.
jejejeo does have +1, yeah.
And he's getting +1 defense. Vulkor is going for Zealot speed and +1 attack also with Stalkers. So we're going to see where he goes with that. The Observer from jejejeo is still, puttering around, keeping an eye on things. Vulkor's Observer has been just sort of sitting over there at the edge of the base. They're not really seeing all that much. But with neither player having too much detection, wouldn't be such a big deal for Vulkor to get a flyover and see what he's dealing with.
He has been poking in a little bit. There's some stuff that he needs to scout out, like that Robo's Bay.
Right.
But he did poke it in at least once.
Yeah, jejjeo's about to take his 3rd right here.
Yeah, actually, Vulkor blocking it with that probe right now, so that's some pretty good pre-planning there by Vulkor to at least be able to scout when that base is going up. And not only that, but now if he has the micro or the APM, he can actually block this Nexus a little bit. But actually, potentially what he could do is build a pylon there. Yes, and he actually does it. Wow.
He drops the pylon, so he's going to... Unfortunately, his probe is stuck in between the opposing probe and the pylon.
But, okay, that's great by Vulkor. Wow. That is actually some really good strategy there. I'm glad to see him do that. What was I going to say?
So Vulkor's taking his 3rd in response, which is actually...
Oh, okay, wait. There's one thing really important I need to say about this game right now. Vulkor is in really deep water. There's another word I want to use instead of water, but I can't really use that since we're a TAW stream here. What was I going to say? Vulkor doesn't have any serious tech going up. I was really hoping when I saw that Twilight Council go down we were going to see Charge Lot Archon, but we don't. And jejejeo now has a Colossi out, and if he keeps building those Colossi, we see they actually stop production.
With extended thermal lance, not to mention.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, what's that extended thermal lance? Jejejeo's going to be looking really well to secure this 3rd base. Actually, both of them seem to have expanded at almost the same time. Vulkor's just a little bit ahead, though.
Yeah, one thing I noticed about Vulkor, he's only got the 2 gas in his main. He has nothing in his natural and nothing in his 3rd. Meanwhile,
I was just about to say that, too.
Yeah, jejjeo's got the 1 at his 2nd base, which still gives him, that extra little advantage. I like the wall jejejeo is building here. He's got 3 gateways, a bunch of cannons behind it. He's expecting a rumble down there. I'm not sure exactly what's going to go on with that. Vulkor, I'm hoping he's going to put a pylon down here and do a little proxy play, or he's just going to try to block the 4th. But,
the funny thing is, I think there's actually a hole in that wall for jejejeo.
Right down there? Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
What was I going to say? And also,
Yeah, but it's not like Vulkor's going to do a Ling run-by or anything.
That's what I was going to say. There isn't going to be a Ling run-by, so why build the wall? You're just going to actually get these buildings picked off by Colossi or Stalkers.
Right. So
realistically, you should have probably built everything back, and then maybe had pylons at the front, or cannons at the front, because cannons can deter. But having these buildings out in the front like that, there's no Ling run-by or any sort of roach bus going to be trying to come through, so there's no reason to funnel everything.
Yeah, and it looks like jejejeo is assembling his army here. Quite the Protoss death ball. He's got just about every unit he can produce in that little death ball, but he's taking the scenic route. I'm not sure why. I'm
trying to avoid the watchtowers here. He's hoping to strike that 3rd, because that's what he wants to hit anyways. He wants to hit that 3rd base.
Right.
So,
Yep.
Taking that passage is most logical.
Yep. Well, we can see Vulkor's army. He's got an observer parked over his army. But that's about it. jejejeo seems a little... He sent his army out, and then he sent his army back. So maybe he was a little hesitant or a misclick. I'm not quite sure. But he's got a lot of firepower. However, he lost... Oh, 2 Colossus were there. So they're actually out of his main army. So he's going to have to wait for those to come back. Or they might get very easily picked off by coming in late. Because right now, those Colossus have no support behind them.
Yeah, I was going to say, Vulkor actually I thought was going to be in a tricky situation here, but actually he's got so many Immortals, I kind of take back what I was saying before where he was going to be in trouble without any splash damage, because with that amount of Immortals, actually, Immortals do insane damage and they're super tanks,
right.
You know? So, and Archons are so gas heavy, and he's just been pumping out Immortals for a really long time. He's actually got double Robo, but no Robotics Bay or anything of the sort coming out, so I would like to see him get a Robotics Bay and maybe pump out double, Colossi, because, you know, everyone loves War of the World style battles.
Exactly. You know what I need to do is vacuum up everything on the map. So now we're seeing...
Vacuum it up?
Vacuum with their lances to vacuum up. Anyway, so now we see that Vulkor's 0-2, well, I guess 2-0 on the upgrades. Meanwhile, jejejeo is 1-2. So that'll give him a little bit of advantage. Vulkor has actually almost finished the shield upgrade, which will help all of his units, and he's working on armor level 1 and ground weapons 3, and is also pumping out Immortals. So right now, both players are about to max out.
Yeah, man. Actually, both players could have already been maxed out at this point. We see both of them having quite a large bank at this point. But one thing I want to notice is, I wanted to say as well, is jejejeo also has double Robo.
Right. So that'll allow him to reinforce faster.
When things hit the fan, yeah, jejejeo's going to actually have a better army if he's able to hold off Vulkor, because he already has that Robotics Bay. And you're actually going to see these buildings potentially get picked off, but actually the Zealot's running forward too, so looks like the cannon wall is actually going to prevail and be useful. Look at all this Colossi.
Yeah, so now
this is a really poor engagement by Vulkor. We need to see Force Field and Guardian Shield going off, but we saw none of that actually happening. And he has no splash
He's about to get cornered.
Yeah. And this is where Immortals run into problems against those Zealots. I mean, they don't have any, you know, there's no splash damage to get rid of those Zealots, so the Immortals actually can't hit the designated targets here.
Right. Yeah, so Vulkor's going to be in trouble here. The extended Thermal Lance is going to be able to basically vacuum up his army. All of those Colossi.
Yeah, interestingly though, Vulkor has such a large bank. If he had actually kept macroing behind that, you know, used his double Robo that he's got, which he hasn't even hotkeyed, unfortunately, he could have actually had, you know, a pretty predominant army out in the field. Back home, he might have been able to defend this, but we saw nothing of the sort going on. And actually has triple forge, so he could have had a full tier higher of his upgrades. He could have had +3, +2, and +2 on his units right now, which would have given him a really strong advantage in this upcoming engagement. But I feel like Vulkor is going to lose that third, and then inevitably the game.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. All he decided to do was build 2 Immortals. He didn't warp anything in. He didn't do anything like that to try to resupply his army. So right now he's got a bunch of speed lots, which are effective against Colossus, but I don't think that's going to quite be enough for him. And I think Vulkor is just going to have to hand off the first match of the night to jejejeo.
Yeah, there was the epic move command, though, which actually gave Vulkor a little bit of a chance in that fight. The Zealots were able to rush right in, but at this point it's pretty much ground zero, I think.
Why you gotta make the 9/11 jokes?
What? It's not a 9/11 joke.
I'm kidding.
It's just a name for a place where stuff has, you know, gone poorly.
That's wonderful. Alright, so that's our first match of the night. Our second match...
it wasn't meant to be terrible, I'm so sorry.
Why don't you get Pip-Boy vs. Solendis on Crossfire SE?
Okay.